What is storytelling? Well, storytelling is the oldest form of entertainment. It's as old as the human race in many ways. Once we developed language, we began to tell stories to one another in order to make sense of our world. We would have sat around fires and we'd have exchanged our understanding of what we saw, and we would have told all manner of stories. Initially, we'd have told stories which were to do with the tribe, family stories, ancestor stories. As time developed and society developed, the sorts of stories we told would then begin to encompass things like animal stories, fables. We would have told stories about the folk, we would have told stories about the fairy folk, stories about tricksters, and then we would have told stories about legendary heroes, myths of the Greeks, for instance, like Odysseus, and also stories about how the world began, which are creation myths. And why did we tell stories? Well, we told stories because as human beings, we think in narrative. We make stories out of everything. In fact, we're surrounded by stories all the time. Stories in papers, stories on the radio, stories on the television. In fact, your life itself is a story. And what you're doing is you're actually writing the chapters of the book of life, your life. Stories, yeah, they're the oldest form of entertainment. They give us information about different cultures, but more than anything else, they're to do with the human condition, what it is to be human. And by listening to stories, we can go on journeys of imagination. We can go to different places and to different times. And the stories draw us in so that we can empathise with different characters. They also introduce us to archetypes, archetypical evil characters, such as witches and dragons and ogres, and also archetypical good characters, brave princesses or noble poor boys and poor girls that have to go on a journey and have to face challenges. So for a child, stories kind of prepare you for adult life at a psychological level. Yeah, they're social because often we listen in a group, but they're also kind of uniquely individual because we all create our own images when we hear a story. And hearing a story is very different from having a story read to you because the storyteller creates a story new each and every time, heart to heart, eye to eye, and because there's interaction between the storyteller and the audience. It's a bit tricky kind of demonstrating that in this medium, but when I come in and I coach you in terms of how to tell a story, you get more of a sense of the interactive possibilities there are in storytelling. So stories, we're surrounded by them. Stories are absolutely key to what it is to be human, and narrative is fundamental to how we relate to one another, how we make sense of our lives. So yeah, stories, they're very, very powerful, very, very transformative. Enjoy the course, and hopefully by the end of it you'll have a story to tell.